Urban Legend is a late 90s slasher that rides the post-Scream wave, mixing self-awareness with classic horror tropes. The film follows Natalie, played by Alicia Witt, a college student at the fictional Pendleton University, where a string of gruesome murders seems to be based on modern urban legends, from the killer in the back seat to the roommate who's asleep during a murder. As Natalie and her friends try to uncover the truth, the body count rises, and the line between myth and reality blurs. Natalie is a sympathetic, yet somewhat passive final girl. She embodies the moral center of the film, haunted by guilt from a past accident that thematically ties into the film's obsession with rumor and retribution. Alongside her is Paul, played by Jared Leto, a skeptical student journalist whose curiosity propels much of the investigation. While both are serviceable as leads, they lack the charisma and sharpness of Scream's Sidney Prescott and Gale Weathers, making their dynamic functional rather than memorable. The concept of a killer reenacting urban legends is clever and initially effective, giving the slasher formula a creative hook. However, after the novelty of the first few deaths wears off, the narrative becomes repetitive, and the pacing wobbles between mystery and cliché. The film's midsection feels padded with red herrings and expositional dialogue that never quite generates genuine suspense. Still, the premise has a pulpy charm that keeps it engaging enough for genre fans. The eventual revelation of the identity of the assailant is both surprising and implausible. The actor delivers an unhinged and gleefully over-the-top performance in the finale, one of the film's most entertaining moments. But the logistics of this revelation collapse under scrutiny. Given the killer's physical prowess and the intricate planning of each murder, it's difficult to reconcile the assailant's slight frame and resources with the execution of these elaborate kills. The film asks for too much suspension of disbelief once the truth is revealed. Several kills require significant physical strength and elaborate setups, feats that seem beyond the character's abilities. The film's final act leans more on camp than credibility, transforming the mystery into a near parody of itself. While this absurdity adds entertainment value, it undermines the believability of the killer's identity. The dialogue is archetypal late 90s teen horror, self-aware yet not nearly as witty or incisive as Scream. Characters toss around meta-commentary about urban myths and horror clichés, but the script often feels like it's imitating a smarter movie. The banter lacks the bite that would elevate it above formula. The horror sequences are stylishly staged, with the opening scene, a terrifying riff on the killer in the backseat legend, standing as the film's highlight. The use of rain-soaked highways, shadowy dorms, and echoing campuses provides a fittingly eerie atmosphere. The kills themselves are more imaginative than truly scary, relying on set pieces rather than tension. Christopher Young's score effectively amplifies tension when needed, with orchestral swells reminiscent of classic slashers. The soundtrack, featuring 1990s alt-rock staples, roots the film firmly in its era and gives it the polished MTV horror vibe that defined much of the decade's genre output. Urban Legend followed Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and it shows. It borrows the ensemble cast formula, self-referential tone, and slick production, but lacks the wit and originality that made those predecessors stand out. Still, it's a fun entry in the college campus slasher subgenre and reflects the trend of turning urban myths into cinematic spectacle. Urban Legend is a glossy, enjoyable relic of late 90s horror. Stylish, intermittently suspenseful, and occasionally unintentionally funny. It doesn't reach the cleverness or cultural impact of Scream, but its commitment to its premise and the wild finale performance make it a worthwhile watch for slasher fans. If you liked this review, please give the video a like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time.